60% of what you pay for a name brand power tool does not go toward the motor, the gearbox, or the steel in the chuck. It goes toward the logo on the housing, the end cap display at the big box retailer, and a licensing agreement that the brand signed before a single unit rolled off the line. That is not speculation. That is the structure of the power tool industry, and it has been hiding in plain sight on every shelf at every hardware store for the last 2 decades. 10 brands, five that are extracting a premium for something that lives entirely in marketing and conglomerate accounting. Five that are delivering engineering, durability, and honest construction for prices that are either lower or justifiably close. Starting at number 10 with a brand whose price tag and actual bill of materials tell two fundamentally different stories. Number 10, Craftsman sets the stage for what this entire first half is about. A standard Craftsman 20V cordless drill retails in the range of $80 to $110 depending on the kit. That price point sounds reasonable until you understand what Craftsman actually is in 2024. The brand was acquired by Stanley Black & Decker in 2017 for $900 million. It does not manufacture its own tools in any meaningful sense. The Craftsman name operates under a licensing model that Stanley Black & Decker extends to third-party manufacturers across Asia, primarily in China and Taiwan, producing tools that share production lines with unbranded SKUs sold through value retailers at 30 to 50% lower price points. The gross margin on Stanley Black & Decker's tool segment has been reported above 40% in recent filings. What you are paying for is a brand that was bought, relicensed, and attached to commodity production dressed in red and black housing. The result, you are not buying a Craftsman tool. You are buying a Stanley Black & Decker licensing fee with a grip. Craftsman has a visible markup, but it is only the beginning of what this ranking uncovers. The next brand pushes the licensing logic one step further. Number 9, Ryobi takes the markup game further in a direction most buyers do not see coming. Ryobi is owned by Tektronic Industries, the Hong Kong-based conglomerate that also owns Milwaukee Tool and Rigid. A Ryobi 18.5 1 Plus drill retails for approximately $60 to $80. A Milwaukee M18 drill retails for $160 to $220. Both are manufactured within Tektronic Industries' production network, predominantly in China. The parent company reports consolidated gross margins above 35% across its portfolio. The engineering differentiation between the entry Ryobi line and the lower Milwaukee tiers is measurable but consistently narrower than the price gap suggests. Tektronic Industries is not hiding this. Their annual reports name both brands under the same corporate umbrella. The mechanism is a deliberate tiered brand architecture where the same holding extracts different margins from different buyer segments. For the consumer, the premium paid between Ryobi and Milwaukee is paid partly for genuine performance differences in higher spec tools, and partly for a logo that belongs to the same parent company that made the cheaper one. If you think a single holding owning both ends of the price spectrum is the worst of this ranking, wait until you see what the brand in 7th position has been doing with its retail channel. Number 8, Black & Decker doubles down on the strategy of brand equity extracted from heritage rather than from current engineering. A Black & Decker 20V Max drill retails between $50 and $80. Black & Decker, like Craftsman, sits inside the Stanley Black & Decker portfolio, which also owns DeWalt, Irwin, Lennox, and several additional tool and hardware brands. The Black & Decker line is explicitly positioned as the entry-level tier of that portfolio, manufactured to cost targets that are reflected in the material choices, predominantly plastic housing with lower-grade brushed motors in the standard range, gear assemblies rated for lighter-duty cycle use. Independent teardown analyses across consumer publications consistently place Black & Decker's internal component quality below the retail price relative to unbranded alternatives at the same price. The marketing budget for Stanley Black & Decker's consumer brands division runs in the hundreds of millions annually, a figure that dwarfs the incremental engineering cost difference between their entry and mid-tier lines. Verdict: the brand premium here is paid for a name with a 50-year shelf life, not for what is inside the housing. Number 7, Bosch operates on a model that is more sophisticated and, in one specific way, more misleading. A standard Bosch 18.5 drill from the consumer line retails between $90 and $140. The confusion begins when buyers conflate the Bosch Professional line, which is an entirely separate product tier manufactured to higher tolerances and sold primarily through professional channels, with the consumer-grade Bosch tools available at mass retail. These are not the same product. Bosch Professional operates under Robert Bosch GmbH's Power Tools division with documented engineering specifications and a different supply chain. Consumer-grade Bosch tools sold at retail in North America are manufactured to different cost targets. The brand does not prominently communicate this distinction at the point of sale. The result is a halo effect. Buyers pay a premium anchored to the professional line's reputation while receiving a product built to different specifications. That is a logo premium operating through deliberate tier ambiguity, not through material superiority at the price point offered. Number 6 marks the peak of the conglomerate pricing strategy in this ranking, and it is the most instructive case here. DeWalt at number 6 represents the most egregious example of structured brand premium in the power tool category. A DeWalt 20V Max 10R brushless drill retails between $150 and $220. DeWalt is the premium tier inside Stanley Black & Decker, sitting above Black & Decker and Craftsman in the same corporate portfolio. In documented instances confirmed through manufacturing source reporting, certain DeWalt and Craftsman products have shared production facilities in the same manufacturing regions, with differentiation occurring primarily at the component selection and quality control specification level rather than through fundamentally different engineering. Stanley Black & Decker's tools segment gross margins, as reported in public filings, consistently exceed 40%. DeWalt's marketing spend, including sponsorships of professional trades associations and job site activations, is the single largest variable cost driver separating its retail price from its cost of goods. Court documents from a 2021 class action concerning DeWalt battery compatibility and product lifecycle disclosures are a matter of public record. The mechanism is not fraud. It is a holding company running a premium brand strategy that extracts maximum margin from brand loyalty built over decades while sourcing to cost targets that the margin structure makes possible. The verdict: you are paying for Stanley Black & Decker's most expensive marketing tier, not for the most expensive engineering available at that price. Before we continue to the brands where your money actually reaches the product, there are 3 tests you can run in the store, on the label, or before you open your wallet that separate a tool that delivers from a tool that performs only in the marketing copy. First, find the parent company before you find the price. Search the brand name plus the word owner or parent company. If the brand at $180 and the brand at $60 report to the same holding, the engineering gap is almost never proportional to the price gap. This single check eliminates the majority of conglomerate brand premium purchases. Second, look at the motor specification, not the voltage. Voltage is a marketing number. Brushless versus brushed is an engineering number. A brushless motor at 18V runs cooler, lasts longer under load, and converts more energy to torque. The price difference between a brushed and brushless motor at the component level is typically between $8 and $20. If a brand is charging $80 more for brushless over brushed within the same line, the gap is not explained by the motor alone. Third, check the warranty terms and where warranty service actually happens. A brand with a lifetime guarantee serviced at owned service centers is a fundamentally different value proposition from a brand offering a 3-year warranty processed through a third-party mail-in system. The warranty structure tells you what the manufacturer believes about the tool's longevity under real use conditions. Every breakdown on this channel runs through these same filters. No brand partnerships, no sponsored placements. If that approach is useful to you, you already know where the button is. Number 5 stands out as the first brand in this ranking where the price-to-engineering ratio works in the buyer's favor. Milwaukee Tool, despite sitting inside the Tektronix Industries portfolio alongside Ryobi, earns its position here on the strength of documented engineering differentiation. A Milwaukee M18 fuel brushless drill retails between $170 and $230. Milwaukee's fuel line uses brushless motors with proprietary powertrain technology protected by patents filed across the 2010s. An independent durability study published in a trade engineering journal documented Milwaukee fuel tools maintaining consistent torque output over 2,000 duty cycles under controlled load conditions, outperforming category averages by a measurable margin. Milwaukee's service network in North America is company operated, and its warranty processing has a documented turnaround standard. The gap between Milwaukee and Ryobi inside Tektronix Industries is real at the professional specification level. The mechanism is direct investment in engineering and service infrastructure that justifies a premium above the conglomerate baseline. Here, performance is in honest alignment with price at the professional tier. Number 4 delivers a level of transparency that most brands in this category actively avoid. Festool, at number 4, retails at price points that read as extreme on first contact. A Festool cordless drill commonly retails between $350 and $500 depending on configuration. Festool is owned by TTS Tool Technic Systems, a family-controlled German holding that has maintained ownership without private equity or public market pressure since the brand's founding. Festool tools are manufactured in Wendlingen, Germany, under documented production specifications. The brand publishes its system compatibility architecture, meaning every battery, accessory, and tool in the ecosystem is designed to remain compatible across system generations, a commitment with an active 30-plus year track record. Independent contractor and trades reviews consistently document Festool tools delivering measurably lower vibration, tighter tolerances on guided systems, and longer service intervals under professional daily use conditions. The price is high. The mechanism behind it is manufacturing investment, system engineering, and a family-controlled structure that has not optimized for quarterly margin extraction. Verdict: for professional applications, the premium reflects construction, not conglomerate accounting. Number 3 takes a direct approach to eliminating the layers that drive cost without driving performance. Rigid, owned by Tektronix Industries alongside Milwaukee and Ryobi, earns its position here through a single policy that no conglomerate brand in this ranking matches. A documented lifetime service agreement available to registered buyers that covers parts and service on the tool for life, not for 3 years, not for the duration of original ownership, but for the registered buyer's lifetime. A Rigid 18V brushless drill retails between $90 and $130 in kit form. The tools are manufactured within Tektronix Industries' supply chain, meaning the production cost basis is comparable to other brands in the portfolio. The differentiator is not manufacturing exclusivity. It is a service commitment that transfers meaningful long-term value to the buyer and that functions as a direct subsidy of the tool's total cost of ownership over time. For a consumer who registers the tool and uses it within the warranty terms, the effective cost per year of use drops below any comparably priced competitor in the category. The mechanism is a direct-to-consumer value transfer through service rather than marketing spend. Number 2 delivers a level of science-backed performance documentation that is missing from every brand in the first half of this ranking. Makita, at number 2, is publicly traded on the Tokyo Stock Exchange and operates manufacturing facilities in Japan, the United States, Brazil, Germany, and Romania, with geographic production disclosed in its annual reports. A Makita 18.5 LXT brushless drill retails between $120 and $170. Makita's brushless motor technology on its LXT platform is protected by patents filed in the early 2010s. And independent laboratory testing published in professional trades publications has documented LXT tools delivering above category runtime efficiency under standardized load cycles. Makita does not operate under a tiered brand portfolio that uses cheaper sister brands to anchor price comparisons. The brand sells one tier of professional tools under its own name. Gross margins in Makita's Power Tools division are lower than those reported by Stanley Black and Decker's Tools segment, a reflection of a manufacturing cost structure that reinvests in production infrastructure rather than in brand architecture. For the buyer, the mechanism is straightforward: engineering, investment, transparent manufacturing geography, and a single-tier brand commitment with no conglomerate brand ladder obscuring the value. Number 1 closes this list as the outlier the industry does not want you to benchmark against. Metabo HPT, formerly Hitachi Power Tools in North America, represents the rare case where price actually reflects engineering without a conglomerate premium layered on top. Metabo HPT is the North American arm of Koki Holdings, the Japanese manufacturing company that emerged from Hitachi's Power Tools division. A Metabo HPT 18V brushless drill retails between $80 and $120, placing it below Milwaukee, Festool, and Makita in price, while sharing comparable brushless motor specifications and a multi-volt battery platform that bridges 18 volts and 36 volts applications. A documented engineering architecture with no close parallel at the same price point in the North American market. Koki Holdings manufactures in Japan with disclosed production standards. The brand does not maintain a parallel cheap-tier sister brand under the same holding to anchor its pricing. There are no documented class actions or regulatory recalls against the Metabo HPT line in the public record. The mechanism is a manufacturer selling professional specification tools at prices that reflect production costs and reasonable margins without the overhead of a multi-brand conglomerate marketing apparatus. Verdict: the dollar per engineering unit ratio here is the most favorable in the category at this specification level. Across the 10 brands analyzed, one pattern stands out above the rest. Price in the power tool category is not primarily a signal of engineering quality. It is primarily a signal of brand architecture, how many tiers the holding company runs, how large the marketing apparatus is, and how much of the retail price is explained by the licensing and distribution layer rather than by what happens inside the housing. The brands that deliver genuine value in this ranking share a structural characteristic. They either lack the conglomerate overhead that inflates price without inflating performance, or they have channeled their margin into service commitments and engineering documentation that the buyer can verify independently. In a category where brand loyalty is built on the job site and reinforced by $100 million of marketing annually, knowing what is actually inside the tool is what protects the investor.